It's the BWI Daily Edition. I'm your host, Thomas Frank Carr. Got a special treat for you. We always try to take you inside the program, give you inside access, information, and sometimes that means getting to know the players that are going to be the next Nittany Lions. I'm excited because we got an awesome guest, Anthony Speca, the latest Nittany Lion. He's joining the show right now on the BWI Daily Edition. Penn State fans love their LBU, and here's the latest linebacker joining the program, and he's in the perfect shirt to represent the mentality of that iron sharpens iron from Pittsburgh Central Catholic. It is Anthony Speca. It's a pretty sweet shirt. That's a lifting shirt, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah. So after we finish our winter workouts and our summer workouts, we get these shirts on our max day. So yeah, I'm repping my Central gear right now.
I love it. A linebacker wearing a lifting shirt is how it should be. You have been at this for a while, and by this I mean the commitment process. I was doing a little bit of reading up on you, Anthony, and early on, you've decided to commit early in the process, but I read 28 unofficial visits already. How much effort and time have you put into this decision, even though it's still January of your commitment cycle?
Well, a lot of people have kind of asked me why so early and why aren't you waiting to take your officials? But like you said, I've already taken 28 unofficial visits. And I mean, I've been doing this since April, my freshman year. I mean, I've gone to every place that I've ever thought about playing. My dad's made sure that I've been able to take full advantage of every opportunity. And I mean, you kind of just know when you know. Like, I always have been like wondering. I mean, I've asked everyone who's been through the recruiting process, like, how'd you know, like, where you wanted to go? And they just kind of say, like, you feel it in your gut. And that gut feeling that I'd been searching for, I mean, I just found it. Like, I felt it at Penn State. Like, I knew Penn State was home. And, I mean, I didn't need another visit. I didn't need officials. I knew where I wanted to be, and I know where I want to play. So.
You've said that a couple times now, that Penn State felt like home, and that sentiment has been expressed in a couple different ways by players that commit to the program. I'm just curious about, what does that mean? What does that mean to you that it feels like home? What are the things that resonated with you that made you choose the Nittany Lions?
I mean, first off, the staff. I mean, Coach Franklin. I mean, a lot of people have a lot of things to say, but I think he is a great person. He just makes you feel comfortable, and I think that's a huge part about college football and where you're choosing, like, just feeling comfortable. I mean, I know everyone on the staff, and I mean, when I'm up there, I'm dapping everyone up. I'm talking to everybody. It just feels like I've known these people for such a long time. And then just like overall, I mean, I think two of my closest friends are already playing there now, and I think that's a huge thing. Just like being up there with people I know and already having kind of like an idea of what they think of the program. And I think that's a huge part. And it just doesn't feel like it's 2.5 hours from where I live, and it really doesn't feel like that. The drive's quick, it's close, and it just feels right. So,
yeah, it's just a quick drive up 22 past Altoona and Johnstown, and then you're in State College. It's an interesting way that you phrase all of that stuff. I want to get to some of the things that you just mentioned in a minute, but I want to go back to your kind of forward thinking in this process. Not a lot of guys in your position kind of have the proactive approach to recruiting. Was that something you prioritized, or is there somebody in your life that was encouraging you to explore and make these decisions and not wait for the process to kind of work itself out, that a lot of guys kind of are tentative in it?
I think it was something I prioritized. I definitely had my dad just kind of told me, like, wherever I want to go, we'll go, and whatever I want to do, we'll do. He'll make it happen. But I mean, I've been at it since my freshman year, and I mean, I just like I'm not like, I mean, I enjoyed recruiting, but it just became a lot and kind of took time out of like my life and like being like a regular kid. And I just like, I didn't want to waste anybody else's time, especially other coaches, because I knew where I wanted to go. Like after that visit, I knew like Penn State was the right fit for me. And I think out of respect for every other coach and respect for myself and respect for Penn State, I just decided it was the time to make the decision. So it was proactive, but like it just felt like right. Like I knew it was right. So
Yeah, that's a pretty mature approach to it, and I was thinking the same thing of taking 28 visits that's cool, right? So you get to go see these schools and you get multiple visits to different top 25 programs, but after a certain point, that's a lot of time, Anthony. Like, you're spending a lot of time driving to these locations. I know from personal experience, like getting to State College, you mentioned it's a quick trip, but like going other places in the Midwest, other schools. I know you visited Notre Dame quite a bit. So that seems like a lot of effort. And do you feel at the end of this now that reward of putting in that effort and that time has paid off?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think the one thing it did was erased any doubt in my mind that maybe I made the wrong choice or I should have waited. Because I had gone from I played a game on a Friday night, gotten on a plane in Saturday morning and gone to a game visit. I've done everything to try and figure out where I want to go. And I mean, doing all of that has made me 1,000% sure in my decision and where I want to be. So, yeah.
We're talking here on the BWI Daily Edition with Anthony Speca, four-star linebacker in the On3 consensus. He joined the Nittany Lions as the second player in the program. And another thing in your journey that I've been learning about, and I think is super fascinating, Penn State fans love when former players come back and are part of the program, part of the picture. And Dan Connor was a part of your story. How did that relationship start, and how has it evolved?
So I came up for the spring game, and that's the first time I met him. I was sitting down eating my food, and he just sat down and started talking to us. And I mean, obviously, I know who he is. He's the leading tackler at Penn State, Dan Connor. But I just think how he was so genuine in his conversation. It was something I never really felt before, with the coach. I think the only other coach who kind of brought that same vibe would be James Laurinaitis at Notre Dame. I mean, you can just tell it's football for them, and I think that's really important. It's not this whole recruiting spiel oh, we want you to. He was just talking to me about football, about just being a guy, and I think that was I was wow, this dude just he cares about Penn State and he cares about the football program. And that was a big thing. And then during the season, we kept in contact. I mean, he helped me a lot with just a lot of football stuff, X's and O's stuff. I would text him about games and stuff, and he was really cool about that. So I mean, we've kept in contact. I mean, I probably text him every week, so he's been awesome. So.
You mentioned getting to know him, and I know through some other conversations you've had, getting to know Manny Diaz was another part of kind of feeling like home and getting comfortable with Penn State. How did that relationship develop with your position coach and the defensive coordinator?
Well, so I hadn't really gotten to meet Manny at the beginning of it, so I was kind of a little hesitant. I like Penn State, but I just didn't know Manny well enough because they brought in the new staff, and I mean they brought him in, and it was just kind of I didn't know where I was. And then I met him, so I came up for a visit with my older brother, and I really got to meet him. And I think a big thing for me throughout this whole process is finding someone, finding a football guy, finding someone who's genuine, and kind of finding someone who's not really blowing smoke, if you know what I mean. He just a straight shooter, and I really appreciate that. That's a big thing to me. It's not about the recruiting, it's about the football. I don't need to take a million pictures and do all this. I just want to know where he sees me, where I fit, and know that he'll take care of me for these next 4 years and make sure that I'm the best possible football player I can be. And I honestly just through our conversations and the time I spent with him and his he's shown me that he's fully invested in making me the best football player and best man I can be. So I think that's a big thing for me.
This is a stupid question, but kind of going off of what you just said, how important is that football aspect of it, of not the pageantry and not can you just kind of expound a little bit on that? Because you seem like a very mature, serious kid, and I'm just wondering, how far does that go? What are the kind of conversations that you are drawn to when it comes to talking with Dan or talking with Coach Diaz?
I mean, on visits specifically, I've asked out of my way to kind of have film breakdowns and have them teach me how to watch film like a pro. Because I mean, Dan played in the NFL. I think that's a big part. I think a lot of people lose sight of all of it. I'm not going. I mean, I am going. So I'm going to Penn State for the academics and the football. But football wise, I'm not going to take a million pictures and sit around and hear about all that. I'm there to play football and I'm there to get better. And I think I'm all about that. So I like to figure out ways that can make me better. If that makes any sense. there's a lot of like smoke and mirrors, and I want to learn about the football part of it. So just to see the way they play, the way they break down film, the way their football teams operated, the way the defense works, I think that's all a big part of it for me. So.
You mentioned a couple of your friends being on the team already, and there is a large connection from 2/10 and from Pittsburgh at Penn State on the roster. So what level of like conversation and connection and influence did those guys have on you? Because I know Tamir Robinson and Lamont Payne are both guys from Pittsburgh that were in the previous class. How much did they have an influence in your decision to go to Penn State?
Well, ultimately, I mean, it was an individual choice, but a really big part, especially Tamir, because Lamont had already committed sophomore year, so I know where he stood with that. But I mean, Tamir has been through it all. I mean, he's been hurt. He's had a lot of things happen to him, and the way Penn State treated him, honestly, like, was a huge thing to me. The way they stuck by him, and like the way he just talked about it, like it kind of added to that, like that home feeling, just like how much they care about their players and they care about their program. So that was really big to me. And I mean, honestly, I drove Tamir and like Lamont up to a game before. So I mean, it's just like, I talk to them all the time. Like, I talk to them daily about, like, I still text them, like, how is it? Like, how much do you like it? Like, is it awesome? And I mean, they haven't said anything bad yet, but yeah, I mean, we're super close. And I mean, they definitely had a big impact on my decision. So.
And neither of these guys, correct me if I'm wrong, neither of these guys play on your team. So how close is that Pittsburgh football group of players that have come out recently, out of the area in general?
It's crazy, like, how close all of us are. I mean, we're all in a group chat together. I mean, we text in the group chat daily. I mean, you got Rodney Gallagher's in there. I mean, I'm still on him about it. Like, but we got Lamont, Tamir, Q, he's in it. Tyrese Fearby's in it. Like, everyone's in it. And I think it's just like all about, like, we're supporting each other because, it's just like the right thing to do. And we've all kind of grown. I mean, we all played 7-on-7 together for a while. So, I mean, that's kind of how, like, we all met each other. But I think it's just like we're brothers at this point. Like, I think it's ideal for all of us to go to the same college. I mean, we text about it all the time. So hopefully we can get Quinton to join in on it. But
you're beating me to the punch. I wanted to ask about your leadership in this class, but you're close with Quentin Martin. Quentin Martin is a national prospect in your upcoming class. Just how close are you guys, and how much are you in his ear about joining the Nittany Lions?
So me and Q, I mean, we go back to like 5th grade. So we played on a competitive AAU team called Wildcat Select. So I've known Q since 5th grade, and I mean, just from like the time I met him to now, I mean, he's literally, I mean, I can say this, like, genuinely one of my best friends. Like, I talk to him all the time. We've always kept in touch. We have mutual friends. I mean, he lives in Bell Vernon, which is kind of far from me, but we still hang out. We still find time to talk. And I mean, so the way I'm looking at it is, if I can get Q, I can get anyone. I mean, he's the best player in Pennsylvania. He's the biggest recruit. He's a Penn State guy. I mean, I would love nothing more than to play with him again, and I think he feels the same way. I'm just hoping he realizes it sooner than later. So,
Anthony, you're killing me. Your answers are so thorough that you're taking my next question. This is awesome. Here's one for you. There's a debate, I think, amongst the community of people that watch high school film and rank and all these things of where Q is going to land. Is it okay if I call him Q?
Yeah.
What position do you think Quentin plays at the next level?
So, I mean, he's tall. Quentin's really tall, but I think he could play running back. I mean, that's kind of hard to be a tall running back, especially in the Big Ten, but I think he could do it. I mean, honestly, I have faith in him. So I've seen Q do some pretty amazing stuff from 5th grade to now. He's a freak. Like, people don't really realize, like, he is an absolute freak. Like, the things he does, his will to win, it's just different. I don't think high school football does it justice, honestly. It's like, you should have saw him in middle school. I mean, this kid's an animal. But I think he could play. So he's big. Like, he's really big. He could play linebacker. I think he played like a little outside. He could play running back. I mean, he could keep growing. He's like 15. I think he's like 16. So he could play D end if he grows bigger. He could play corner. I mean, Penn State's really getting like a super versatile player if he decides to go there. So, I mean, I think that's why they want him so badly.
So you are in a unique position as the second player in the class, and you've already demonstrated, I think, clearly the answer to this question. But how much do you want to be a leader in growing this class and making it a top 10, top 5 class or wherever it lands? How much are you invested in being a leader and getting guys to join you going to Penn State?
I mean, it's a big deal to me. I honestly think if I can get every like good player in Pennsylvania, which I'm gonna try my butt off to get them to Penn State, we have a chance in the national championship, especially with the college football like playoff now and the way it's set up. I don't see any reason why we couldn't. I mean, if we get Kevin Haywood, we get Cooper Cousins, we get Quinton Martin, we get Samaj. I think it's a big deal. I think it's a big thing for Penn State, and I think that'll work well. I think we'll mesh well. I think we can do it. So,
again, you're already naming names. I was going to ask you, are there any other names you want to throw out there? Any other shots you want to land here on the show? Because I know some of those guys watch the show, by the way.
Oh, okay. Well, Kenny from Emotep. I mean, I'm already texting him. I've been texting him for a while. Peter Gonzalez. He knows how I feel about him. I mean, it's my classmate, but let me think. Who else? I mean, anyone in PA. If you got a Penn State offer, why aren't you committed to Penn State yet? I'm telling you, man. Best in PA, stay in PA. So,
is this part of the reason? I know that you talked about a lot of the stuff already about why you wanted to commit early, but was this a decision of like, okay, I can position myself, and here you are on this show, and Penn State does not allow freshmen to talk to the media their first year, so they get media training. I think you could opt out of that just based on our conversation so far. You're doing an excellent job in this interview. Was this part of kind of your long-term goal too of I'm going to commit early, even if it's not to Penn State, wherever it was, I'm going to commit early, and I'm going to do this because it's something I think I can do?
So I think so. As I like. Probably in like the last 3 weeks, I thought about it. So I kind of been like trying to figure out where I want to go. And I think a big part, I just want to be the best possible player, best possible teammate. And I think that starts with kind of knowing where I want to go. Like, I don't really like jumping on like late. I want to be on as early as possible. I want to enroll early. Like, I just want to be there. I want to build the foundation. And I think like, if I can benefit the team, whichever team I had chosen, in the best possible way, I think that's what I want to do. And if I can help build a super class for Penn State, especially with all PA guys, I mean, I'm 100% in. So,
are you good for a couple more minutes? Because I'm having such a good time. I just looked at the clock and we're butting up on it, but I want to get into a couple things on your film. Are you good to talk a little longer?
I got to make sure my phone doesn't die, but. I got 4%, so I got 4% to talk. So, yeah.
All right. We'll get through this pretty quickly. Okay, so self-scout Anthony Speca for me. What is he good at? Where does he need to improve?
Well, I think I'm like naturally like just like a football player, so I think I have really good instincts. I'm super aggressive. I'm fast. I'm a lot faster than people think I am. I mean, I haven't played offense in high school, so a lot of people like are kind of like, well, how fast is he? But I think my speed's a big thing for me. I'm explosive. I think like football, just like what else? Pass coverage. I think that's like a big thing in film for me. So my favorite football player is Luke Kuechly, and I mean, I think he has the most interceptions of all time in like the NFL for linebackers. So I think like a lot about just like figuring out, like reading the QB's eyes and getting in the right zones, picking off passes, a big thing to me. So that's probably.
I was going to say, this is exactly the thing I see on film from you, Anthony. Is one of the things I love is your ability to drop into coverage and how much do you focus on wanting to be a complete player, a 3-down linebacker? If you are that Mike linebacker, especially, that's a pretty rare thing. So how much are you focusing on that in developing for your senior season?
Well, I mean, it's a huge deal. I think this is going to be the hardest. So I got, a year from now till the time I enroll at Penn State. So I think I've already made this decision. I'm going to invest everything I have in being that player and being that player for Penn State and being the best possible football player I can be for my senior year. So, I mean, I've already started with conditioning and lifting like crazy. So I think that's probably like the biggest thing to me. Just making sure I'm on the field at all times and I'm helping win, because if not, it's going to drive me nuts. So.
I love that answer. The next thing I've noticed personally is I feel like you fit the personality of a Manny Diaz defense fairly well. Would you agree with that? And did you guys have that conversation when discussing your fit at Penn State?
I mean, yeah, for sure. So a lot about Manny's defense is you have your job and you have to do your job. And I think for any position, if you told me that I had to go, I don't like this was the analogy he used. So if you had to open up, if I said whoever opens up that door, you have to punch him in the face, and that's one door, and you punch him in the face, you're going to do it right. And I think that's just how like I am as a person. If you give me a job, I'm going to give you 1,000% of what I have at that job. And the way it's set up, I mean, you see how Abdul Carter did this year. Like you gave him that one job, and he went with it, and he played. He had an amazing season. So yeah.
Do you know? Have you guys discussed a position that you'll start? Is there one that you want to start at?
Mike. He just said Mike. Like I mean, everyone I've talked to said like I'm a Mike, and I think a lot of things like they emphasize is that at this point in like high school football, a lot of the linebackers that are like being recruited like don't play Mike in high school. They all play like the end. So
yeah,
that's like a big thing for me. I'm one of like the only true Mikes, and so I can play Mike. I think he said I could play Will, but he talked mostly about Mike. So.
Do you have any plans on enrolling early next year at this time?
So I'm going to try to. I go to like a Catholic school, so I need 4 years of religion. But if I can figure out a way to get those 4 years of religion in before my senior year, I'm definitely going to. I mean, I'm going to try my hardest because I think that's a big thing for me. I don't really want anyone having like the upper hand on me, so I want to be in there as early as possible. So.
I love the competitiveness, even with the guys that you're trying to sign into the class with you. I love that. You mentioned that you're faster than people give you credit for, and maybe that they think about when they want you. Do you have a 40 time that you want to share?
Well, I mean, I don't want people to like. It wasn't like official or anything, but I was with D Brown, and I wanted to work on my 40, so we kind of for like 2 hours we just like worked on like the little parts of it, and I ended up clocking. So what they got me as like twice was like a 4.5, like 4.56. So I've always been like fast, like so I'm just like a strong runner. So I ran like a 4.56.
And one of the things I like about your film, Anthony, is that you're able to translate that and run in any direction. That's for a modern Mike linebacker. That's very important. So that skill is going to help you, down the road to accomplish all those goals that you have. Do you want to get into just very quickly, because I know that we're now on the clock for a lot of different things, including the battery. I just want to get to know you a little bit outside of football. Do you have time for that?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, so what do you like to do in your free time outside of football?
Hang out with my friends. I think like I just love hanging out with my friends. That's my favorite. Like just being with my guys and hanging out. I like to fish. I'm a big fisherman. My uncle fishes a lot, so he's taking me fishing. And weirdly enough, I love playing chess. Big chess guy. I have chess on my iPad at school, and I mean, I forget what my ELO is on the app, but I'm pretty good at it. So.
Micah Parsons loves playing chess. He's very vocal about loving to play chess. So another linebacker trait that you seem to have for Penn State. Any siblings? You mentioned you have an older brother. Anybody else?
I have an older sister, an older brother, and a younger brother. So I have 3 siblings.
Big family. Favorite movie that you've either favorite movie all time or favorite movie recently?
I like the new Avatar movie. I saw that with my boys, but I think all time. Wow. All right. I'm just gonna have to say any Harry Potter movie. I don't know why I said that, but I just watched Harry Potter a lot when I was younger, so I think it has like a special place. I've also read all the books. So,
yeah. You got to.
Oh, yeah.
That makes me feel good. That makes me feel good that people are still reading Harry Potter books. Those came out when I was your age, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
What other sports do you play? You playing basketball right now?
No, so I used to play basketball, but I tore my labrum last year, so I couldn't play in the year before that, COVID. But I think I'm going to play lacrosse just to play. My little brother's really good, so kind of want to be out there to protect him. So I'm going to try and play.
Last thing, I'm assuming you're a Steelers fan, given where you grew up. Is that correct?
Yep.
Favorite player?
Oh, on the Steelers?
Yeah.
I mean, probably TJ Watt, just saying that, but I love George Pickens. I love the way he plays. Like I love the intensity. But there's a linebacker I think we got from Ole Miss, Mark Robinson. He's a dog. I think he's going to be really good for the Steelers. So
Awesome. I love that I got everything from you, Anthony. We got your recruitment, we got draft scouting, we got breakdowns of the Steelers. This is heaven. This is what I love doing too. So thank you. I have enjoyed this thoroughly, and I hope you have as well.
Yeah, I have. Thank you so much for having me. This has been awesome. So.
Last thing, and I know that you're not big and flashy on these things, but is there anything on social media you want to let people know before we go?
Anything on social? Follow me on Instagram. Trying to get verified, so let me give me a little follow.
All right, so give them the handle.
At Speca6.
All right, there it is. Anthony Speca, the latest Penn State Nittany Lion, giving us a ton of time. I appreciate that so much. Thank you, and good luck for lacrosse, football, whatever's next for you.
Thank you so much.
That'll do it for the BWI Daily Edition. I'm Thomas Frank Carr. Make sure you subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you download and rate, review our podcast on Apple Podcasts as well. And, of course, hit like on the video here. We will be back tomorrow. The mailbag is tomorrow. So make sure you still got one more chance to get your 5-star question in on Apple Podcasts as well for that. We will talk to you tomorrow.